You that would alone me and you. You know that song? That song, Rain Dance, Dave and Tim. That song, incredible. But welcome back to another episode of Off the Dome. My name is Darcy, and here we speak off the dome, man. Authentic podcast. Let's get straight into it. Today's video is going to be about working at American School Way. If you don't know, this is an academy, English academy in Colombia. This was my first job in Colombia. So I'm gonna tell you what I think about it, the requirements, should you work there, my thoughts. Just my thoughts about it. Okay? So boom, how did I find the job? I found the job by Minga House. If you don't know Minga House, I explained it in my other video about teaching English in Colombia, so go check that out. And basically, they help you find a job. So I told them I want to live in Cali, and this was a position that was open in Cali. And boom, it was pretty easy, to be honest. And to be honest, I probably could have went to Cali and found it and be like, hey, can I have a job? Like, probably could have worked out also. But thankfully, I found this job before I came to Colombia, so it kind of worked out anyways. And yeah, you know, with American Schoolway, it is an English academy. It's based in Bogota. So there are like 50 of these academies in Bogota. In Medellin, there's some, you know, but in Cali, when I arrived, there was only one. Now there's two, but when I arrived, there was only one academy. So, take that as you will. Everyone can't go there, everyone can't work there, but and now I got the job. Okay, so now let's go to the interview process. The interview process is really simple. They tell you kind of how it's gonna be before, and they're just like, hey, participate and ask questions because it's a group interview. And in my group interview, it was like 10 people, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be kind of easy because some people would look distracted. They were eating, headphones in, on the phone, no camera. I was like, what's going on? And I was excited. I was like, let's go, because I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at interviews, pretty good at answering questions, showing examples. So I was like, let's go. And then once I saw that, I was like, oh, I got the job, like easy. So like the interview is just like a presentation. They don't even like want to like ask you questions. I guess they're just seeing if you are like able to speak and able to identify certain things from the presentation, ask questions. Because after it, there's like a quiz about the presentation, and you take the quiz, and if you pass or not, it shows that you go through the next round. And the course is really easy. It's just questions about the presentation. So if you watch the presentation, like maybe took some notes, easy. I'm pretty sure I missed like one or two questions, and it was like, okay, you passed. So boom, okay, I go to Minga House. Minga House goes to American Schoolway. They contacted me, set me up for the interview, and then next is the visa process. So that is also why American Schoolway is a good start, is because they give you a visa and they help you with the visa. They don't pay. They don't pay for the visa. Nah, you gotta do that yourself. But they help you apply for the visa. They help you work with the bureaucracy. And that's important. It's amazing to have a company do that for you. So I feel like that is a great advantage working with this company. And it was funny because I got the job 2 weeks before I was about to go to Colombia, and then they were like trying to apply for the visa, knowing I was at home, but I was like, nah, I'm in Cali. Like, oh, you're in Cali? Okay. So then they switched it up, fixed it, and now they made it so I could apply while I was in Cali. Okay, the visa process does take a little while. It's not like immediate. Like, I got there in June and I start working until August, so it might take a month and a half, and that's normal. It's not always going to be a speedy process. Bureaucracy, visas, they're going to take time. So hopefully you take that into consideration once you're applying for this company. And yeah, man, I started working. They give you an option to choose your shift. There's a morning shift, afternoon shift, and a night shift. But unfortunately, there were already 2 people working there. Okay, so my position, my name is cultural ambassador. So there's 3 cultural ambassadors in one academy. So one has the morning shift, one has the afternoon shift, and the night shift. So the rest of the people who work there, they're from Colombia. They're regular teachers. But as our job as cultural ambassador, our job is to have classes, but they're more conversational, they're more dynamic, more interactive, and it's like a break from the grammar classes, essentially. And so when I got there was already 2 people there, so there was only the night shift left. And I was like, well, I mean, what can I do? Like, wait until they leave, you know? And I was fine with it. You know, the night shift is from 2 to 9 p.m., which in hindsight is like, dang, that kind of sucks. But you know, I was just grateful that I even have a job, grateful that I was working, grateful that I was able to work, you know. So I didn't see it as a bad thing, you know. It's a good thing for now. Okay, so boom, I get there, I'm working the night shift, and you get about 3 to 4 classes a day that are an hour and 20 minutes, and they're nice, you know. They're not so big, which is nice. And the classes are usually adults, and this is because it was at night. At nighttime, you know, people get off work and they go to class. But in the morning, you might see some younger students because maybe that's all they're doing is studying. So, but when I was there at night, it was mostly adults, so it was fun. You know, you met actual Colombians, normal working people who have a 9 to 5, you know, have a family. And I was able to really interact with the culture, get to know the culture extremely fast. And I loved my job. You know, it was awesome. You know, every day was funny, making jokes, laughing, having games. It was a great environment. You know, I really enjoyed it, meeting new students, making friends, and it's nice. It's nice. Okay, so I know you guys want to know how much. I'm like, bruh. Enjoy the moment. No, I'm playing. Enjoy the moment though. So like when I first got there, like, okay, you have to work on Saturday too. That is the only thing I forgot to mention. You have to work on Saturday too. So I worked from Monday to Saturday. Saturday is like half a shift, so it's like 8 to 4. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only bad thing about the night shift is, like, imagine working Friday night, you get off at 9 p.m., and then you gotta be there tomorrow at 8. I was like, hell nah, bruh. That's crazy. But yes, that was like my schedule every week, and that came up to about 2.8 Colombian pesos, which at the time was about $700-$800. It doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, that's okay. You don't need, you know, a lot to survive there, a lot to start. And like I said, this job is not a job of dreams. It's a place to start. It's a place to be humble, a place to grow, a place to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to use your creative juices, right? Remember I said the classes that we teach as cultural ambassadors are more dynamic, or more creative, or more on us. We have to create the class. We have to create the games. Obviously, they have resources for us, materials for us to use that are helpful. But in hindsight, it's better to just try, think about games. It's really easier that way for you. You can reuse them. You see new people all the time. So yeah, so 2.8. Now I'm sure it's higher. You know, this is back in 2023. So it's definitely higher now. Now it's probably like 3.5. You know, now minimum wage has increased in Colombia too. So I don't really know how much it is now, but for me, it was doable. It was doable. Okay. So boom, that is like the schedule. You know, the classes, and the pay. The requirements, obviously you need a college degree, you need a TEFL. These are the only requirements you really need. Obviously experience helps, and that's important too, but they just want a native speaker. You know, a lot of the students just want to practice speaking normally, speaking conversation, and meeting new people. And you know, it's an honor to be able to be that person, to give them the light, to give them the energy, to give them the joy of just speaking to a native speaker. There aren't many native speakers in Cali. Now there are, but there weren't, you know, many who were just working there too. A lot of them came for tourism, but to work and to meet someone is rare. So yeah, man. And I was there for about a year and a half. You know, a year and a half, and the job was really nice. Even the coworkers are extremely nice, extremely helpful. You know, they try to just make it like a family environment, which some people might find toxic, but I mean, to be honest, you work 6 days a week with them, and I don't know, like, it's definitely up for debate. Like, we can talk about it real quick, but like, because I agree, it's kind of toxic to have like a family environment because, um, if you make work your whole life, your whole everything, you are going to be burnt out, right? And you know, working 6 days a week with the same people doing the same thing and just trying to make the most out of it, you might be putting too much energy into it. It will definitely make you burn out. Did I do this? Did I make this mistake? I did make this mistake. Because as for me, I was excited. I was so excited. I was so happy. It was a new environment, new job, new beginnings. So I wanted to make the most out of it. So I was trying to be nice to everyone. I was trying to do this, to do that, go above and beyond. I'll be honest. And that kind of backfired, you know? And it makes sense to backfire. You know, people in Cali, they have their family, they have their friends. You know, for them, this is just a job. And that's what I learned about my perspective. You know, I learned that maybe I should just treat it as a job. But as you know, I'm new. I don't know anyone, so it was tough to like have a life outside of work. Also, working the night shift, it was really difficult because after work you just want to sleep. You know, in the morning everyone's working, everyone's busy. You know, no one's gonna go out to have breakfast with you. You know, they gotta work, they gotta make money. People usually don't work at night, and so for me, it was extremely difficult to have a social life outside of work, and it was tough. You know, unless you have like a girlfriend, a family, you know, maybe you don't need that social life. But for me, I wanted that, you know, and because I didn't get that, I tried to make it at work, and this became toxic just because others aren't doing the same as you. Others aren't giving the same energy as you. And so it was a big thing, you know, and I learned a lot from that job. I learned, you know, I basically learned that, you know, don't make your job your life, even if it's all you have, you know. And yeah, so obviously like you can have a few friends there, but understand like, you know, people got lives, clock in, do what you gotta do, clock out, you know? That's the best way to go about any job, to be honest. Unless it's like an amazing job and you want to, you know, give it your all, man, go ahead. So yeah, obviously, in the end, I changed my shift to the afternoon shift because someone else left, and it was a lot better. I was able to start going out more, start doing things, and it was funny because I was like, dang, I missed the night crew, I missed the night shift. Like, I did that for like a year, and I was like used to it, and I was like, oh man, the night crew, the night shift, and it was nice. And then when I changed to the afternoon shift, it was better for me. I was able to go out more, go on dates, meet people, and it helped a lot. But you know, The one thing I will say about American Schoolway is it's a big company. Even though there's only one in Cali, there are so many in Bogota, 50, and there's a lot in Medellin. So it's all over Colombia, right? So because it's such a big company, there's gonna be big business, big bureaucracy, issues, updates, news. There's lots of pointless meetings, teacher trainings, and they feel the need to always be changing things. A clear example is near the end, I also left because the job I applied for is completely different from the job I was leaving when I quit. like, like when I got there, I was only cultural ambassador, only teaching classes like dynamic conversation, games, those type of classes, conversation club. Um, what's the other one called? Conversation club, cultural Friday. Those are classes that you can just create with different topics, create group activities. They're fun. But near the end, they changed it, and they were like, "Oh, now the cultural ambassadors have to teach grammar classes." And I was like, and like, okay, really? I was like, me. This is also my fault. I wanted to do so much that like I was so bored sometimes. I was like, bro, let me teach grammar classes. Like, let me teach a couple of grammar classes. Like, I only want to teach like one or two, and then it was like the whole company started to decide like, okay, now culture ambassadors are going to teach grammar. And really, I wasn't that mad because I mean, I was excited, but something different. I like to be out of my routine. Sometimes having a conversation is so hard. The saying, oh, sometimes it's nice to have like, okay, we're gonna do this, 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 this. Okay, boom, 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 class finish. So I wasn't really mad about it, but I was only mad because the pay is the same, and I feel like because we have to do more, we're also native speakers. We deserve a better pay. If you're gonna change our whole job description, why are you not paying us more? So that's where I was like, I don't know. And because we're also teaching grammar classes, that also meant we had to teach an extra class, just because that's how the schedule was. Because now we are on the same level as the other teachers. And I was just like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure. So yeah, that kind of happens, and you see that happen in academies like that. The big people upstairs, they want to be in charge, be in control, and they always change things for no reason. It was fine how it was before, but they were just like, oh, let's do this, oh, let's do that, just because they want to also show that they are doing work. And yeah, that's not really why I quit. I'll be honest, I quit just because I burnt myself out. I gave too much to the company, and I made it everything. And everyone doesn't do that. So when you're the only one doing that and you don't see it given back, you don't see it being reciprocated, it's like it does a lot to you. Also, you don't have a huge community in that city. So yeah, man. But all in all, I don't regret working there. I think it was a good start. I knew it was going to be just a start. I knew I was going to be there forever. And it led me to a better job, a job that I was even more prepared for, knowing I had this experience. So, trust the plan. Everything always works out. It's only going to get better. And it did get better. And do I miss that job? So yeah, it's like, so I miss that. I mean, I'm never gonna miss a job, bro. If I wanted to stay there, I was gonna stay there. But like, it just got to the point I was so burnt out. It was so hard to like it's hard to heal in a place that puts you in a place that hurts you. In that place, it kind of hurt me just because I put too much into the job. And once I left, it was funny because I felt so liberated. I felt so free. I felt relaxed, happy. I could smile again. But it goes to show you that that's not entirely the company's fault. Like, I'm allowed to take accountability. I'm allowed to say, okay, this is also my fault. And it was, I'm not perfect. I don't wish I was perfect, but I'm definitely not even close to perfect. So yeah, man, if you're looking to be in Colombia, if you're looking to work as an English teacher, you don't know where to start, it's a good start. Now I will say Cali is more relaxed. It's more chill. Maybe now it's not, but because Bogota has 50, I heard through the grapevine, it's a little more strict. You can't be doing nothing. You gotta be talking to students all times, and if you're doing nothing, they're gonna be mad at you. In Cali, I was chilling. I was chilling, doing because sometimes they weren't class, so you just on your phone. Sometimes I live close, so sometimes I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home. Went home for an hour, came back. Oh, okay, like what's up? Oh, got class. Okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. But Bogota is the headquarters, so they're more like they're watching you. They're watching you more. So take that into account. I recommend Cali, Medellin, or like a smaller city. Bogota, they're kind of. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's my 2 cents. But yeah, man, it's a good chance to get to know the culture, get to know people who actually live there, normal people, and I enjoyed it, man. We had some outings. We played soccer with the students. We played laser tag with the students one time, and those moments are going to be cherished forever. They're special, and that's why I wish I didn't put so much like energy, like it has to be like this, that, and the third, and just let it flow because people just want to have fun. People just want to speak English with you, and that's amazing. So yeah, man, this video is kind of long. Closing, I don't have anything to close with. It's like I told you everything. I told you the pay, told you the requirements. The interview process was easy. Told you how to find it. My experience. I'm sure people have different experiences, and yeah, sometimes a job, it might be too easy that you don't feel passion too. That also is the reason why I left. Like the job was just too easy. Even the grammar classes, you're like, okay, boom, 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 questions, okay, bye, and you want to like give more, but you just gotta follow the lesson plan. So yeah, man, if that's what you want to do, it's a good idea. It's a good start, and is it enough to live off? It is. My apartment was a little bit more expensive than usual. Like it's kind of hard to find an apartment in Cali, but it's definitely enough to like survive. Like you're not gonna be saving money. Like you're not gonna be living luxurious lifestyle. It's an academy. Like you're probably gonna have like some private classes on the side, something like that to keep your lifestyle moving. But it's definitely not a job that you expect to just have fun, make a lot of money. Like no, this is somewhere to start. All right, remember that. Get your foot in the door. So I'm gonna keep this video here because it's kind of long. But if you guys have any questions in the comments, just let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you want to work and live in Colombia. It's a great country. They need English teachers, and this one helps you with a visa too. So hey, a visa that's gold. That's gold right there. So thank you for watching Off the Dome. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you soon.